In the headlines, 3 Edo train victims rescued as Deputy Governor condoles family of police officer who died of natural causes. 10 people die in road crash on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. And NPC Limited confirms oil discovery in Nasarawa, commences exploration March. And on the international scene, Tanzania opposition leader says he will end exile after rally ban lifted. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Dashan Husseina Usman. And we begin on a sad note where the Edo State government has commiserated with the family of DSP Michael Adams, who lost his life during a successful rescue operation of some of the victims of a kidnap incident at Igweben local government area of the state. This is as 3 more victims of the Edo train attack have been rescued by a joint team of military, police, local vigilantes and hunters. The Deputy Governor of Edo State, Philip Shaibu, who led other top government functionaries and security officers to the home of late DSP, expressed sadness over the unfortunate incident. He noted that the late DSP Adams was a gallant officer whose exploits are worthy of commendation and emulation. The Edo State Commissioner of Police, Muhammad Adamu Onkwara, clarified that Adams did not die in a shootout as he had been rumored.
Able to rescue victims alive, and more of these victims are being rescued. Additional 2 again, apart from the magistrate, were rescued yesterday. So the effort is really yielding result, and I must commend the men and women of the security for what they've been doing.
Certainly, they have gone for an operation, and along the line, he felt somehow that he wasn't feeling after the exercise, after the rescue. They have been just like the Deputy Governor has said, that they have been in the bush for a very long time, which at the end of the day, they have rescued the magistrate. So he felt he was feeling somehow down and what have you.
4 members of a family were on Friday confirmed dead as a result of the high voltage supply of electricity in Kofar Gayan low cost in Zaria. Confirming the incident in Zaria, the head of fire service unit in Kofar Doka, Muhammad Umar, who attributed the incident to an electric spark, said it occurred in the early hours of Friday. An eyewitness and neighbor to one of the deceased, Safiano Aliyu, said the incident claimed the lives of Alarama Muhammad Sani, who is an imam, his wife, Raulatu Sani, and 2 of their children, Hashim Sani, aged 8, and Fatima Sani, aged 1.5 years. The neighbor, who also attributed the cause of the fire incident to the high voltage of the electricity supply being restored to the area around that hour, described the incident as unfortunate. Also commenting, a member of the vigilante group in the area, Bello Haruna, explained that they were on patrol when the incident happened. 10 passengers reportedly died in the early hours of Saturday when a Toyota bus crashed into a truck on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Reports say the incident occurred at about 4:30 a.m. around Oniworo axis of the highway, involving a Toyota Hiace bus and a Mack container truck with no registration number. The spokesman of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Florence Okpe, confirmed the incident on Saturday to newsmen in Abeokuta. Okpe said 19 persons comprising 13 male and 6 female adults were involved in the crash, out of which 10 died, 2 sustained injuries, while others were rescued unhurt. According to her, the injured victims were taken to Victory Hospital, Ogere, Ogun State, for medical attention, while the corpses were deposited at the Igbara morgue. In politics, the opposition People's Democratic Party and the ruling All Progressives Congress in Kwara State are trading words over the proposed visit of President Muhammadu Buhari. Addressing a press conference in Ilorin, the Director General of the PDP Campaign Council in Kwara State, Ali Ahmed, accused Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak of rushing to complete some projects for the president to inaugurate next Tuesday. He described the project as sordid, asking the president to only attend to APC presidential campaign and not be swayed to inaugurate any project. But in a reaction, the spokesperson for the All Progressives Congress Campaign Council in Kwara State, Olasumbo Oyeyemi, clarified that the president is only coming to Kwara to flag off the APC presidential campaign and not to inaugurate any project. But in a reaction, the spokesperson for the All Progressives Congress Campaign Council, Oyeyemi, who said the president will come at a later date to inaugurate some landmark projects in the state, accused the PDP of being jittery of the achievements of Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak.
We are also aware that it is customary for state governors to seize the opportunity to get the president to commission completed, standard and befitting projects which had been undertaken for the benefit of the people and to demonstrate that the government is working to serve the people. This gesture usually makes such president visits more memorable and noteworthy. However, in Kwara State, much has been said about the overwhelming failure of Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak and his inability to commission landmark projects since assuming office 44 months ago. To save himself the embarrassment of having his failures become a topic of national discourse when the president visits and finds no noteworthy projects for the commissioning, a meeting was purportedly convened by the state governor and his inner cabinet members who resolved to deceitfully get President Muhammadu Buhari to commission uncompleted projects during the president's visit to Ilorin on the 17th of January 2023 for the launch for the APC presidential campaign, thereby making him a party to their shameless grand conspiracy.
Ever since this campaign has started, I've not seen them talk about what they intend to do for the people of Kwara. The only thing they keep doing is just to talk about their own failure and about the commissioning of the project. Right now, the President Muhammadu Buhari is not coming to Kwara to commission a project on the 17th of January. He is simply coming to flag off the presidential election in Kwara State. But the PDP should not be scared because the president will soon be in Kwara again to launch and to open up new projects in Kwara State and commission great lofty projects that would not only impact on Kwara as Kwara, but will also impact on individual lives of people in Kwara.
Moving away from that story, the Court of Appeal in Abuja has upheld the nomination of Shehu Buba Umar as the candidate of the All Progressives Congress for Bauchi South Senatorial District in the 2023 general elections. The appellate court also set aside the judgment of a federal high court presided over by Justice Emeka Nwite, which on November 21, 2022, nullified Umar's nomination in May 29, 2002 primary. A three-member panel of justices Friday held that the applicant of the suit, Ibrahim Zailani, brought the same without exhausting the internal mechanism for dispute settlement in the party as contained in Article 27, subsection C and subsection A of the APC Constitution, and thus rendered the action premature. The unanimous decision on the two appeals, which was read by Justice Rilwan Maiwada Abdullahi, held that the failure of the applicant to play a video exhibit of the alleged irregularity of the primary in the open amounted to dumping of the exhibit. Responding to the judgment, Umar said, with this development, the path has been cleared for the party to continue with the struggle for a credible, worthwhile, and positively impactful representation of Bauchi South Senatorial District in the Senate. A few days ago, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission began auctioning of seized properties. So far, no bid has been successful, bringing into focus latent suspicions held by Nigerians on the credibility of auctioning processes in the country. What factors have contributed to the doubts held of citizens about the transparency of the process? Chamunda Beng reports.
On December 24th last year, EFCC announced to the public that it would auction off properties that had been forfeited by the courts to the Nigerian state. However, the results of the exercise carried out a few days ago was not as fruitful as the Commission may have wanted. EFCC isn't the only body that carries out similar exercises. Bodies like the Nigerian Customs Service, NCS, and Directorate of Road Traffic Services, otherwise known as Vehicle Inspection Officers, VIO, have embarked on such auctions. From actively participating in auctions because of transparency issues, why are auctioning processes in Nigeria viewed with suspicion, and where do the proceeds of the auctions go?
The proceeds, of course, should go to the federal government coffers. That is what it should be. These are legally seized assets with court injunctions, and so the proceeds belong to the federal government. Of course, we know that is what the little I know about the law, and we also expect from EFCC, like I said, to maintain the standard, to increase the standard even more. They should brief Nigerians at the end of this of how much realized from this. The process will not be complete if we are kept in oblivion and we do not know what the money, including what the money, if I want to see official handover with the process, a kind of a mini ceremony where the EFCC chairman, Abdulrasheed Bawa, is handing over. This is how much we recovered from this, and it has been carefully, judiciously handed over to social office.
Though the auctioning process in Nigeria possesses full legal backing, many Nigerians have turned from participating as they feel that the best properties are shared amongst the officials. According to legal practitioners, a public announcement or publication is legally required, and a level playing field must be created to allow for fairness.
The law tries to balance the interest of the auctioneer or the seller and that of the buyer, because sometimes the auctioneers themselves may not follow the law and perhaps sidestep some aspects of the law regarding the auction. The law would say that even if the auctioning process does not meet the law in full, you, the buyer, should not be what? Responsible for that, as long as you do not collude by any fraudulent way with the auctioneer to get the property. The law tries to protect you.
The EFCC will continue its auctions despite the fact that no bids have succeeded yet. This may also point to the agency's thoroughness and determination to ensure that the process is transparent and above suspicion. Chamunda Beng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're watching News Update on Trust TV. Coming up after the break, women overtaking men in trading activities. Do stay with us.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story. Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130.
A Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secured are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Already, if you look at England's squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining us, you're watching Trust News Update, a recap of our top stories. We told you that 3 Edo train victims rescued as Deputy Governor condoles family of police officer who died of natural causes. You also heard that 10 people die in road crash on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Moving to other stories, the Group Chief Executive Officer, Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited, Mele Kyari, has confirmed the discovery of oil in Nasarawa State. NNPC disclosed this in a series of tweets on Friday after a visit to Kyari by the Governor of Nasarawa State, Abdullahi Saleh, saying the official spud-in of the first oil well in the state will commence in 2 months. This comes less than 2 months after President Muhammadu Buhari flagged off the Kolmani Integrated Development Project in the northeast. Buhari said the oil exploration at the Kolmani River, located between Gombe and Bauchi states, had already attracted over $3 billion foreign direct investment and will boost Nigeria's fortunes and earnings. The project is expected to start with a daily production of about 50,000 barrels of crude oil. 48 hours after tanker drivers blocked the Zaria-Kano highway over the killing of their colleague by a soldier, they have agreed to reopen the road on Saturday. The protesting tanker drivers who used their vehicles to block the busy highway agreed to remove them after a series of negotiations with security agencies and FRSC officials. The incident happened on Wednesday around 3:30 p.m. shortly after the soldier attached to a construction company shot the victim following an altercation. Confirming the reopening of the road on Saturday morning, the state acting sector commandant of the Federal Road Safety Commission, Lowell Garba, said normalcy has returned. The State Police Command had ordered for the full-scale investigation into the killing of the driver by the soldier, which led to the road blockage. Women in Kano are now taking over trading activities in some markets in the state as high cost of living continues to take a toll on people's earnings. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin visits Yankaba Vegetable Market and a weekly market locally known as Larabarmata to see how they're competing with men.
For over 5 years, Rabi Umar has been coming to Yankaba Market on a daily basis to sell tomatoes and other vegetables. She says it is the only trade she can rely on if she is to take care of her 5 children, whose father died some 6 years ago. For Rabi, the business of tomato and other perishable goods is paying off.
I started with 2,500 naira and it works. The following day, I did the same and it again works out. Therefore, since then, I started collecting the tomato and pepper in bulk. After selling, I usually get some good profit. So generally, the business is honestly paying.
I
started with 18,000 naira, but along the line, I lost everything. We then joined a hand with one of my friends called Safia to be collecting the goods on credit from big dealers. After selling, we then return the money and get the profit from it. Till today, that is what we are doing.
Many other women in this market are now taking cue, venturing into daily trading of vegetables in order to ease their suffering and meet up with their day-to-day demands. But they say there are challenges associated with the current high cost of living. Unlike the Yankaba vegetable market, this market is called Larabar Mata in Kano, where the customers are predominantly women. Although there is a significant number of women involved in selling of second-hand clothes and other products. Traders Union say the market has a long history of existence and that women are increasingly dominating the business here.
Kuma asali sunan da ake gaya mata ba Larabar Mata ne sunanta ba.
Initially, this place is called Larabar Kutari because there is a leprosy center with a group of women selling some local food. Later, it kept expanding with more women selling different kind of goods. Hence, the name changed to Larabar Mata, and largely because the main market day is Wednesday. Today, I can tell you that the market is one of the best in the outskirts of Kano metropolis.
Tunda farko ta somo daga mata ne, sai kuma mata suka rinjayi kowa a wurin.
With the ongoing price increase of goods and services, traders, most of whom are women in these markets, hope government authorities will find a way to ensure price control that will help women in investing the little they can get for a more sustainable economy. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
President Muhammadu Buhari on Friday urged leaders of the Global South to agree on a common agenda on ways to reduce the increasing burden of debt and inflation in that region of the world. Addressing the Global South Virtual Summit, the president expressed optimism that the meeting, hosted by India in its capacity as the voice of the South, will address issues of climate change, food security, and access to energy. Expressing appreciation to the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, for inviting him to participate in the summit, President Buhari noted that the Global South is driven by historical ties and a sense of deep solidarity in pursuit of bridging the gap between the South and the North. The president, in a statement by his special advisor on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, described a very commendable the initiative to convene the summit entitled The Voice of the Global South under the theme Unity of Voice and Unity of Purpose. He hailed India's emergence as voice of the Global South, considering the role the country played during its two-year terms at the United Nations Security Council and the humanitarian gesture it extended during the COVID-19 pandemic.
By expressing my appreciation to the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, for inviting me to participate in this summit. The Global South is driven by historical ties and sense of deep solidarity in pursuit of bridging the gap between the South and the North. The initiative to convene this summit, which is called the Voice of the Global South under the theme Unity of Voice and Unity of Purpose, is indeed very commendable. I have no doubt that the emergence of India as voice of the Global South is apt, considering the role the country played during its two-year terms at the United Nations Security Council and the humanitarian gesture it extended during the coronavirus pandemic.
And now away from Nigeria, Tanzania's opposition leader and former presidential candidate Tundu Lissu says he will return home this month from exile in Europe after the government lifted a ban on political rallies. President Samia Suluhu Hassan lifted the 6.5-year ban on political rallies last week as part of her reconciliation strategy after taking over the presidency in March 2021 following the death of her predecessor, John Magufuli. The ban imposed by Magufuli in 2016 allowed elected politicians to conduct rallies in their constituencies but barred other political rallies and protests. Lissu, a former lawmaker, initially left the country to seek treatment abroad after he was shot 16 times, mostly in the lower abdomen, in an attack by unknown gunmen in the administrative capital Dodoma in September 2017. He had been arrested 8 times in the year leading up to the attack. He returned for a few months in 2020 to challenge Magufuli in a presidential election in which garnered 13% of the votes, but his Chadema party rejected the outcome due to allegations of widespread irregularities. And finally, in sports, Football Kenya Federation has suspended 2 coaches for match fixing after receiving a tip-off about cheating in the National League. Among those suspended on Friday were 6 players from Zoo Kericho FC, which was found guilty of match fixing by FIFA's Integrity Unit in 2021 and expelled from the Kenyan Premier League. The federation said it had suspended those accused, including 1 player from reigning Kenya Premiership side, Tusker, until the matter was formally investigated. In February 2020, FIFA banned 4 Kenyan players, 1 for life, for taking part in an international conspiracy to fix league matches. 5 Kenyan referees were later suspended over the same scandal. Kenya only returned to international football in November after being suspended by FIFA in February 2022 because of government interference in the sport. And with this, we've come to the end of Trust News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Dashan Husseina Usman. Thanks for watching.